Coming up, State of Business, sponsored by
IWS Aviation.
A very good evening and a warm welcome to State of Business on our television. I'm Ashain Ali and let's have a look at the headlines first. Germany enforces strict market access rules. Climate change undermines very pillar of health. News in detail. Starting next year, Sri Lanka exporters will have to face strict rules when accessing the German market. This is due to the new law that comes into force in Germany on the 1st of January 2023. The law on corporate due diligence in supply chain stipulates that German importers must ensure that their suppliers follow human rights, labor laws and sustainability environmental standards or they will face penalties. The main statement of this law is that employers must ensure their employees' safety and workplace conditions. It states to respect basic labor laws and human rights such as no forced labor, child labor and the treatment of employees according to the law. The German consumers have attached significant importance to good working conditions, building fire safety and other protective measures. The European Union has now also presented a draft of a supply chain law for all of Europe. Since Sri Lanka already follows most standards, it has an advantage in the Southeast Asian region. Areas Sri Lankan companies should improve are the freedom of association and collective bargaining to allow workers to form unions or work councils. The treatment of workers should be equal and not based on their gender or other social factors. Therefore, discrimination based on gender or other reasons is not acceptable. Furthermore, overtime regulations, lawful payments and health protection must be available for all employees equally. There is room to further develop Turkey-Sri Lanka bilateral trade and commercial ties, and Turkey is committed to work towards this end. This position was expressed recently in Colombo by Ambassador of Turkey, Demet Sekrocu, during the celebration of the 99th anniversary of the Republic of Turkey. Turkey aspires to strengthen her cooperation with Asian countries in a more comprehensive and systematic way through a new initiative. According to the ambassador, it is one of many components of Turkey's multidimensional foreign policy, and Sri Lanka is considered a valuable partner. Turkey is also facilitating the endeavor to contribute to food security and extends a helping hand to those in need around the world through Turkey's humanitarian assistance. A recent example of which has been 3 consignments of drugs and medical equipment donated by the government of Turkey to the Ministry of Health. Sri Lanka and Turkey are to see positive developments in a wide array of cooperation areas which span from tourism to investment, according to Chief Guest Minister of Environment Nazir Ahmed. Turkey is one of the leading export destinations for Ceylon tea along with trade in other commodities which have largely contributed to bilateral trade relations. According to Sri Lanka Export Development Board, Turkey was among the top 10 export markets for Sri Lankan products in 2020. It has been observed that women, children and families have been placed in a position of significant disadvantage due to the economic crisis. This was expressed by the head of the South and Southwest Asia Office of the United Nations Economic and Social Commission, Mikiko Tanaka, during the meeting with the Minister of Industry yesterday. The regional chief of ESCAP stressed that this situation can be alleviated through the promotion of micro and small-scale women entrepreneurs. Mikiko Tanaka added that the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific has already implemented many programs to promote the development of enterprises in Sri Lanka. She expressed that her organization will continue to support Sri Lanka in the future. During the meeting, Minister Dr. Ramesh Pathrana stated that his ministry and the government are already working to promote micro and small-scale women entrepreneurs and is working to cover every district. Minister Pathrana held that several programs have been implemented by the Ministry of Industry for this purpose. He maintains that these projects cover micro and small-scale women entrepreneurs at the rural level and are providing them with the facilities required to uplift them. The minister pointed out the importance of micro, small and medium-scale entrepreneurs in the production and use of packaging made from environmentally friendly natural materials. He highlighted that Sri Lanka has 62 types of raw materials. These include palm, coconut, bamboo and clay. Stay tuned for more news right after this commercial break. Welcome back after the break. In its 7th iteration, the 2022 report of the Lancet Countdown shows the direst findings yet. At 1.1 degrees Celsius of heating, climate change is increasingly undermining every pillar of good health. Climate change has been shown to be compounding the health impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic and geopolitical conflicts. This has resulted in annual heat-related deaths in people older than 65 years, increasing by 68% from 2004 to 2021. More frequent and extreme weather events are increasingly affecting physical and mental health directly and indirectly undermining the capacity to work and exercise. The changing climate is exacerbating the risk of infectious disease outbreaks and threatening global food security. Heatwave days have been associated with 98 million more people experiencing food insecurity in 2020. Despite this, mitigation efforts remain inadequate to avert a catastrophic temperature rise. Government engagement with health and climate change reached record levels in 2021, and the updated nationally determined contributions reflect increased awareness of the need to protect health from climate change hazards. Policies on COVID-19 recovery and energy sovereignty will have profound and potentially irreversible consequences for health and climate change. However, accelerated climate action would deliver cascading benefits with more resilient health, food and energy systems and improved security and diplomatic autonomy. The 6th Working Group on Governance, Rule of Law and Human Rights met in Colombo on the 28th of October 2022. This took place in the context of regular bilateral interactions between Sri Lanka and the European Union. The EU reaffirmed its commitment to support efforts to overcome the economic crisis, including necessary reforms and social protection measures. The EU was apprised of the 21st Amendment to the Constitution, which is aimed at strengthening democratic governance and independent oversight of key institutions. The EU welcomed progress in the EU-funded Justice Sector Reform Programme and will improve access to justice and enhance human rights. The EU acknowledged reforms to the Prevention of Terrorist Act and pointed to further action. However, the EU expressed concern on the recent use of the PTA. Sri Lanka and the EU reaffirmed the importance of engaging civil society and giving it the necessary space to function in all its diversity. The EU reiterated its call to decriminalize same-sex relations and noted the private members' bill in this regard. The two sides discussed the UN Human Rights Council cooperation, including treaty bodies, special procedures and the Universal Periodic Review process. The two sides also agreed to continue their cooperation in the framework of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The working group was updated on the GSP Plus monitoring process and its requirements. Tangible progress on GSP Plus commitments was encouraged. Minister of Labour and Foreign Employment Manoj Nanayakara recently left for South Korea. Through his visit, the minister aims to initiate steps necessary to increase the quota of job opportunities made available to Sri Lankans. The demands of Sri Lankan workers currently employed in Korea will be discussed with the Korean government. In their endeavour to secure new jobs opportunities, new fields that can be opened for the Sri Lankan migrant worker will be a focus area. Bilateral discussions regarding the labour sector are also scheduled to be held, especially with the representatives of Korean government. In order to achieve rapid progress in the economic sphere, attention will be given to how Korean labour laws have been structured. Measures for the effective use of labour resources and how they relate to the Sri Lankan context will also be evaluated. Meanwhile, according to the Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment, 1,398 applicants have passed the special Korean language test held in 2022. The Bureau requests that candidates visit the official website for information regarding the dates of interviews, medical examination, and obtaining police reports. Stay tuned for stock updates.
IWS Aviation.
Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The All Share Price Index dropped 52.98 points to close at 8,508.98, and the S&P SL20 dropped 17.98 points to close at 2,583.75. The turnover was 1.1 billion rupees and over 50 million shares were traded. Up next are Forex rates. And that's all news for today. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook. Until then, take care and good night.
State of Business was sponsored by
IWS Aviation.